If you're watching this video, then this prophetic word is for you. And the word that the Lord has dropped in my spirit is that he has already provided the answer. And I'm going to give you a testimony and reference for how this word came about and why I feel like this is necessary and a necessity in this season for you to pay attention to the signs. So I did a video on my channel about faith, and it was a prophetic word that I dropped. It was the first video of its kind that I've dropped on my channel. And I want to be able to expound on that, really let you know really how that all came about. And it really flows into this word, because there was something that I was asking the Lord for, and it was something I was going before the Lord about, something I wanted the Lord to do for me and for my wife. And I was praying for answers. I wanted answers. My wife was also praying. We were praying together for an answer on a particular thing that we needed the Lord to do for us. We wanted the Lord to do for us. And neither of us was really like, the Lord had given me a peace on the situation that he was going to take care of it. So I had the faith, right? So the faith was there. I believed the Lord. I'm like, I trust the Lord. I kept telling my wife, I trust the Lord. The Lord has already worked something out for this. I'm not worried about this. And I told her, I was like, it's already going to happen. It's already going to happen. It's going to be done. But we were praying for how it was going to get done. We wanted to know how. We wanted to, okay, Lord, what do we have to do? What is the next steps? How do we have to go about solving this issue? And the Lord dropped in my spirit, like after days of me not really getting an answer, not really having an answer, but just trusting, the Lord told me to go and check something that came in my mail. Now, I'm one of the type of people, when I get mail, I don't throw mail away, not immediately. Like, I can have mail for like 2 months before I throw it out. Like, I keep a nice stack of mail. In a, it's the area that I keep my mail in my house, and I keep a nice stack of mail there, because I've always said and I've always went by the principle of, I don't know if I might need this or if I might be looking for this at some point in time. So I never throw mail away just immediately. Like, my wife and I will check the mail. We'll open like the most important stuff that we know are probably like bills that we have to pay that month or within that time frame, and other things that are kind of like, junk mail. We'll throw junk mail out. But if it's something that's not necessarily like junk, but it's not necessarily like a high priority item or something, we'll just kind of leave it off to the side. So I don't check mail, like, as far as like each letter. I don't open every single piece of mail that I get. Like, I prioritize if it's my car note, if it's my credit card bill, if it's the light bill, if it's gas bill, those types of bills, I will open those bills up the moment they come and pay them, or plan to pay them, or put or me and my wife will look over them and say, okay, what is the date that we have to pay this by, etc. So in this particular case, I had received a letter in the mail like a month. Literally, it was a month prior to when the Lord's put in my spirit to go find that letter. And it wasn't in the usual spot that I would normally put mail. So I was like, did I throw it out? Did my wife throw it out from cleaning up? And I asked my wife, I'm like, have you seen this letter from, this company that sent it? And she was like, you had it not too long ago. And she asked me to check another spot that I may have put it. And I went and I was able to find it. And it dawned on me that I had been praying and asking the Lord for an answer, and the solution had already been in my house, because when I actually opened up the letter and I read it, it was literally giving me the answer of what I was praying for. And the Lord dropped in my spirit, it's like, you were praying about this. I had faith, I had full confidence and belief that the Lord was going to do it, like that it was already done and that the Lord was making provisions for it. I had full faith, but I still was asking the Lord for the answer. But he had already given me the answer. But the answer was in my house before I even knew that I needed the answer. And that's the word for you in this season, is don't just have faith and that's it or whatnot. A lot of times we're waiting on the Lord to give us instructions on how to move, when to move, where to move. And he's already spoken. He's already given us the answer. We just have to be able to find the answer in a different way. See, we we're so used to God talking to us a certain way. A lot of times we want the Lord to come and speak to us directly, or we want to hear a confirming word from another believer, or we want to get these things. But sometimes God has already spoken and God has already given the answer, and he doesn't have to say a word. You just gotta pay attention to what's already happening. Like had I actually looked through that letter, I never would even have to pray for the answer. I'd have knew that this is what the Lord wanted me to do. And this is what the Lord was given and provide for what I was asking for. But of course, like I said, with me, I believed and I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know how. And the Lord was like, I gave you the answer. It was already in your house. So in this season, yes, it requires faith. But it also, that's the part where it's the works. The faith without works is dead. The part that is the works is that you have to know how to find and locate the answer, even when you said I didn't directly hear from God, because sometimes it's not gonna come in that form. My mom taught me this a long time ago, and it's something that sticks with me, and it's gonna stick with me probably the rest of my life. But sometimes, faith is just this you have to have a mind to like walk, and it doesn't seem possible, right? Sometimes it's like it seems like it's impossible. You seem like you're crazy, which is really what crazy faith is. It's something that's unseen, unheard of, unthought of. Though it seems to be impossible, and that's what makes it crazy faith, because you don't have an answer, you don't have a solution, you don't know how it's gonna get done, but you're just believing, and it's wild, right? But then there's times when the Lord will give you something and it'll just make sense. And that's what my mom taught me. It's like, it'll be considered common sense to us. Say, oh, common sense ain't common. But there's times when the Lord will give you, the answer will be just the thing that makes the most sense. But like, you know what? I'm praying to the Lord about this issue. And sometimes the answer is just a common sense answer, or it's an answer that makes the most sense. Like I'll give you an example. If you're working a job, right, and your boss has been offering you overtime, and you're behind on a bill, and you're like, Lord, how am I gonna get this money for this bill? But your boss has been offering you overtime just every single week. Your boss, do you want to work more? We need more help. But you might be like, oh, I gotta get my kids at 3:00, or I gotta pick my son up from school at 4, so I can't work overtime. But a lot of times, the answer to your solution will be right there. Work the overtime, because that's the provision that the Lord has opened up already for you to solve that problem that you have. And then you just have to trust. That's where your faith has to come in. You just have to trust that if this is what the Lord has made to be the provision, then the Lord, you're going to work it out. You're going to work something out. You're going to make a way. You're going to make a provision for you. That's where you have to activate your faith. You have to mesh that with the faith. But it doesn't have to be, and it won't be in this season. It won't be in practical a lot. A lot of it is going to make sense. A lot of it is already going to be there. The answers are already there. You already know what to do. You just need to go. Like, you don't need the confirmation as much as you think. You don't need to hear a word from somebody. You just need to trust God with what God has already told you, what God has already given you, and what the Lord has already led you to do. Because sometimes we've gotten a word and we're sitting on that word, and we're not moving because, oh, the Lord hasn't told me to move. The Lord doesn't need to tell you to move if he already showed you that that's where you need to go and what you need to do. So don't have the faith blindly and be waiting on God to do something for you that he's already given you an answer. He's already opened that door. You just got to walk through that door. So I want to share that testimony with you, but I also want to challenge you in this season with your business, with your investing, with everything that you got going on. Stop waiting on the Lord to give you every single piece of the puzzle. He's already answered the prayer. He's already given you the instructions. He's already made the way clear for you. You just have to walk in it. And it's like the Israelites. You cannot afford in this season to see yourself as a grasshopper, because the Lord has already given you the land. He's already telling you where to go. He's already given you the destination. You just got to walk through that. And you have to bind up that spirit of fear, and even that religious spirit that tells you that everything has to come from God specifically and directly from his voice to make you move. Like, you need to know, you need to be able to see in this season that it just makes sense to move. And then you move by faith. Because if you say, oh, it makes sense to move, the action of you stepping out of the faith, because you don't even know if it's going to work. You don't know if it's going to work. You don't know how it's going to work. But you're going to just step out there, and you stepping out there, that's the work. And that's the faith. That's both. You're doing both in the same time. It's simultaneous. And then there's an obedience with that, because you're stepping out and you're activating your faith and you're believing in the Lord. And then you're doing what the Lord is already pushing you and giving you the signs to do. Pay attention to the signs in this season. There's going to be unusual signs that aren't going to come in the manner that they typically come. But pay attention to those signs, because those signs are going to be very direct. They're going to be very clear. And you're going to just have to move. You're going to just have to go and move you're going to just have to move. And no, the Lord may not say, go do that. Like, he may not tell you that, not directly in that way, but he will show you the path. He'll connect you to somebody. You'll meet someone. Somebody might be inviting you to come to an event and you putting it off, but they keep inviting you. There's a reason why they're inviting you. There's a door that the Lord wants to open up for you. Go. Don't step out of your comfort zone. You cannot afford to be comfortable in this season. Even with the conditions that's going on in the country, if you're American, everything that's happening is happening for a reason. The Lord wants to push us out of our comfort zone. He wants to get us uncomfortable. He wants to get us to doing things that we wouldn't typically do, because that is how he's going to bless his people in this season. You got to understand what's in front of us and what's happening right now. And I can't stress this enough to everybody that's following this channel. I'm not going to just tell you to just have faith and just believe in the Lord, and the Lord is going to provide us. Like, no, the Lord is giving strategies. The Lord is giving systems, and the Lord is blessing the action of his people. He's blessing those that are proactive, that are go-getters, that are stepping out, and that are doing things, and that are trying things, and that are trying new things, and that are building new relationships, and that are nurturing relationships, and those people that are helping their brother and their sister. Like, that's what's really happening. And I truly believe that there is a shift and there's a momentum that the Lord is activating in our lives right now, even as I'm speaking in this phone right now, even though I'm speaking on this video. Like, I truly believe that the fire of the Lord and that the anointing of the Lord is on his people in this time to try something different, and he will bless us for our actions. So I just want to give you that. I just want the Lord put that in my spirit, and it had been really on me, and it had been on my heart for the last couple of days. And I was like, let me record this video. I actually have to go out and do some errands with my wife and make some runs. But I wanted to share it with you. I was praying about something, and the answer was already in my house. Don't let the answer be in your house in this season and you miss God because you want to hear from him. You want to hear it in your spirit, and you want to hear his voice on telling you on what to do. And he's already given you the answer. I love you guys with the love of Christ.